Okay, so in this question, we're given this function here. Actually, we're given the derivative of a function. So the first derivative of a function is x squared times log of 2x plus 1, and we had to find the second derivative. It's exactly the same as if we were just given a function and asked to find the first derivative. So they've just given us the one derivative and the second to trick us. So all we have to do is differentiate this function. Okay, so how do we differentiate this function here? Well, as you can see, this function is split up into two parts. There's an x squared, and there's log 2x plus 1. So let's call these bits a and b. And anytime you've got these functions which are multiplied together, when you find the derivative, you can use the product rule. So the product rule says that if we've got two functions, let's call that a and b multiplied together, then the derivative of that function is the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So it should be pretty straightforward, but the only other thing we have to look at is that this function here, the second function, is not a simple function, it's one function embedded in another. So it's 2x plus 1, and then take the log. So for this function here, b, it's actually two functions embedded in each other. So let's call it p of q of x. I should have used x's up here as well, just to pretend that I did. So the derivative of that is the derivative of p times the derivative of q. All right, so this is called the chain rule, and this is called the product rule. So basically we have to apply both of them, and I suggest you do it step by step. So let's do it systematically, one step at a time. Now, I must admit, the first time I did this, I made a careless mistake because I tried to combine too many steps all at once. So let's not do that this time. So this function inside is q, and the log function is p. So if q is 2x plus 1, then the derivative of that is simple. It's just 2, because the derivative of 2x is 2, derivative of 1 is 0. Let's look at p then. So if p is a function, which is a log of, let's pick something else, r, then the derivative of p is 1 over r, because that's the derivative of the log function. And then let's go back to our original function here. We've got a function which is this function a. If a is x squared, the derivative of a is 2x. Okay, so those are the three derivatives that we're going to use, the three differentiations that we're going to use. So now we just apply the product rule step by step. Okay, so this is going to be our answer. The derivative, second derivative of x is, all right, so let's just apply this rule. So the derivative of the first function, which we've got here, is 2x times the second, log of 2x plus 1, plus, let's go back up here, so now we've got a, which is the first function, x squared, times the derivative of the second function. So this is the second function here. So the derivative of log is 1 over. So it's 1 over that function, so that's 2x plus 1. Now, applying the chain rule, remember the derivative of this second function is the derivative of the first part of it times the derivative of the second. So we also have to multiply by this q derivative, which is 2. Okay, and that's the answer. It says don't worry about simplifying it, but just to neaten it up, we might write 2x plus 1 plus 2x squared over 2x plus 1.